Hey everybody, welcome back to Pardon Will Live. I'm your host, Dave Dilly, aka Pardon Will. It is Sunday night. We're gonna hang out. I've got a packed show. Even though you guys know I hate calling it a show. I'm gonna call it a show anyway. I got a packed one for you tonight, so we're gonna rush right on through these. But I hope you guys had a fantastic week. I definitely did. The chat is open. By the way, so if you want to hang out and chit chat, you're more than welcome to. Maybe reading some of those, maybe reading all of them. Who knows? Who knows what I'm gonna do tonight? But before we get started, go and hit like and subscribe. You jabronis, you know the routine. And you're a jabroni, go and like and subscribe it. I think I messed that one up. Man, starting this thing off on a great note. Or you can go to pardonwell.com, buy some art, buy a book, download some music. Guys, your boy over here is a Renaissance man. He's got all kinds of things going on. I think NFTs are still there too. Those things are still a thing. I don't think they are. But either way, they're there. They're out there. Pardonwell NFTs. Haven't made a meme coin yet, but that's only because I don't feel like going to jail. And so maybe one day I'll snag me a meme coin. Guys, we're gonna hit this thing ground running because I do have a lot to cover. There's a few things I want to hit. Some things I might not spend as much time as I ought to on them. And I'll give you a reason why. But tonight we're going to talk about the dichotomy. That's why I named it We're All Gonna Dichotomy. The dichotomy, the difference between two basically we're going to talk about politics, right wing, left wing, culture war stuff, right wing, left wing, and how that whole thing is shifting and how it's this tribalism thing is dumb. And we do this every once in a while. I like to bring it back up because some things happen in the news and everyone likes to pick a side when no one's really paying attention to what the truth is, what we really should be paying attention to. But before we get started, last week we had news that old Joyanne Reed got fired. And then, and trust me, guys, after I didn't talk about it because she came out with a video the next day crying about how her show had value. And I was like this close to bringing that video up and we were going to chit chat about, we were going to laugh at it. But I didn't. I held off. I was like, there's more important things. Well, this is one of the more important things. She tweeted out or blue skied out, whatever that is. She skied out this amazing tweet, and I was like, well, I got to bring this up on the show. If I'm not going to have her crying in a video we're going to laugh at, definitely want to bring this tweet up because I thought this was fantastic. Check this out. This is Joyanne Reed on Blue Sky. You can follow her at joyannereed.bsky.social. Sure, it's going great over there. It looks exactly like Twitter. She says, we will never be a monarchy. I know that. To quote the Lord of the Rings trilogy, she quoted the whole trilogy in this one tiny phrase. Gondor has no king. Gondor needs no king. She's absolutely right. Gondor has no king and needs no king. I don't think she. Here's the thing. Anybody, you might not like Lord of the Rings. I personally love Lord of the Rings. And anybody right off the bat read this is like, well, that's like the worst quote. That's like quoting Sauron. It's not Sauron, but it's pretty close. It's king or steward of Gondor. Doesn't want the king returning, which is Aragorn. Of course, we all know the details about that. She's quoting something completely stupid. The whole last movie was Return of the King. The whole point of it was Aragorn stepping up and becoming king of Gondor. And this whole quote that she made, ill-timed. I understand the point. She's like, we got to pull anything. But why go after the Lord of the Rings fans? What is this? She's like, I'm not on MSNBC anymore, so I got to pick up my audience. So you're going to go straight for the nerds? You're going to go for the nerds? If you're going to go for the nerds, you got to pick a better quote because this got all of the nerds riled up. All of them. Speaking of which, that's it. I just want to bring that up because I thought that was the most ridiculous thing ever. She quoted the bad guy. She's like, this is, if anybody likes Lord of the Rings, they'll get this. Quoted the bad guy. But you know what? Everybody shows their true colors, to be honest with you. I think Joyanne Reed is on the bad side. What do they call that? The wrong side of history. And that's a lot about what we're going to talk about tonight. Dichotomy. I don't think she's on the wrong side because she's a Democrat or liberal. I think she's on the wrong side because she doesn't like truth. I think she lies to her fan base because she needs her fan base. And I just think most people aren't. I don't think they're bad people because they're on a side. I think it just so happens to be that a lot of bad people happen to be on one side. But guys, we have Republicans that are terrible too. I'm sure they would quote Lord of the Rings, all the wrong stuff, like Saruman, quoting something like that. Yeah, because there's bad guys everywhere. So this whole team thing that we're going to talk about tonight, this politics, partisan politics, we're going to talk about how dumb it is. So that I want to start off with a dumb blue sky tweet post. Maybe it's a post from Joy and Reed. But let's talk about who replaced Joy and Reed because I thought this was fun. Speaking of party politics, when she got fired last week, all of your Rachel Maddow came out like, this is the most racist thing ever. Well, wouldn't you know it? They already knew this. You might not have, but they did. It's not like they were replacing Joy-Ann Reid with some cis white heterosexual male or something, or part of the patriarchy. No, they replaced Joy-Ann Reid with this fella. And we're going to check out this video real quick, so I think this is important.
He has a hard time running against Vice President Harris because she's a black woman. You remember, Ashley, when he would tussle with the women that would ask him questions, our colleagues on the White House beat. Reporters. You know, he held his kind of most angry self for black women, right? If they asked him a question, he would have the worst things to say about them. And so you're seeing that, right?
I can think of three off the top of my head.
Top of our head. And when he talked about Joe Biden got worse, Harris was born like that, right? That's different. That's a dog whistle to folks to say, you know, the white guy just got older and it got worse, but the black lady was born dumb. That is the kind of thing that Donald Trump is saying and selling to folks.
Yeah.
Folks.
Yeah.
All right, first things first. That is, I know what you were thinking. Well, actually, you're probably thinking a few things. That is a woman's blazer, and that is a brooch. Because it was almost as if you knew who was going to be replacing Joy-Ann Reid, and you manifested it. You personally were like, I bet you they're going to get some kind of a maybe how do they keep the intersectional thing alive? Black gay man. Yep, that'll work. And put him in a woman's blazer with a brooch. Either way, that was the first thing I'm sure you thought of. That wasn't the first thing I thought of. I'm actually kind of stoked about this. Not the intersectional part, not keeping it diverse or whatever. This Eugene Daniels, that's his name. I'm not sure if I don't even know. To be honest, I didn't do any research on this. The only thing I didn't spend any time looking this person up, find out what their credentials are, what they're like. I just found this video clip. And I spent all the time I should have researched it, looking this album cover up, because the first thing I thought of was, holy crap, they hired Lionel Richie. Look at this. Tell me it's not the same person.
He has a hard time running against Vice President Harris.
Okay. Yeah. So instead of looking up who this person was, went back and listened to some Lionel Richie. So I'm all for it. I love this replacement. I think he's going to do better than Joy-Ann Reid because he's already coming out the gate, dressing better. He's got better hair. All around upgrade. We got a hardcore upgrade. I hope Joy-Ann Reid's doing great on her new podcast. I don't know if she has one, but that's what I would do. Obviously, it's what I did do. Anyway, that was the joke. That was a long way around to say that guy looked like Lionel Richie. I even pulled up the image. Guys, there was a lot of stuff I had going on tonight. And so one of the things that broke, so we're going to go right through all these. Was Lionel Richie a gay man? I don't remember. I don't know. Who knows? They're all. That's fine. Back then, who really cared? I don't think that's back when the day when intersectionality wasn't a thing. You could just be who you want to be and no one really cared. Speaking of being who you want to be and no one really cared, this is a stupid segue. Guys, one of the reasons why this podcast has been, I mean, it's not slacking. It's grade A material for sure. I mean, you're not hearing it from me, but one of the reasons why maybe not as prepared as it was is because, guys, I've been working on this project, and I keep bringing it up because I want you to be a part of this project. Guys, it's called Flintlock and Fog. Let me do this real quick. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do this. If you go to flintlockandfog.com, this is the website right here. So basically what it is, real quick synopsis, it's a D&D style game, but instead it's set in historical Victorian era. So it's basically the same concept, but instead of fighting dragons and dungeons, you're, fighting Frankenstein or Jack the Ripper, or, historical figures are involved and all kinds of cool stuff. Vampires, werewolves, you know the drill. You can go here and watch this little video. I break it down for you. And you can sign up. at the bottom, part of the newsletter, and I'll bring out all the stuff that's happening. Guys, this is what's going on. I spent the entire week finishing up the player's manual, the beta version, because I want to get it out in the public. We're going to be publishing in that midway through March, maybe sooner. And so I'll actually have like a book to show you. As you can go and sign up. This is going to be open for beta testing. If you want to become a beta tester, somebody who likes D&D. Guys, here's the thing. You might not even like D&D. You're like, that's dumb. That tabletop RPG, that's for nerds. This is actually, it's better than what you think it is, because what it really does is it makes you problem solve in your everyday life. So if you want to see what it looks like, you can go, like and subscribe to my YouTube. I have on Thursday nights, I've been beta testing, live streaming a gameplay through, and so you can kind of go see what it's all about. But basically, on video games where you're like, hey, I got to solve this problem, and the dialogue pops up and you got to select A, B, C, or D. Yeah, none of that with D&D. You get to make up your own dialogue. You get to solve your own problems the way you want. It's an actual RPG, not like within the walls parameters of video game. That's what makes it great. Plus, you get to communicate and hang out with your friends. So if you like D&D, or if you don't like D&D, or you've never played it, you can go to flintlockandfog.com right here and sign up and hit that Y join the beta test. I'll break it down for you. All kinds of free stuff for right now. That won't be free forever. Promise me. I promise you that will not be free going forward. Either way, that was my commercial break. Awesome segue as usual. Speaking of things that take a long time to earn, I think it's the Academy Awards are going on tonight. Now, this is breaking news. I didn't quite prep for this. Well, I didn't quite prep for the entire episode, but this thing in particular broke like right before I came on. And I wanted to chit chat about it because you guys know I'm an artist. I like to talk about cultural things more than politics. It's more in my lane anyway. Everyone says you should stay in your lane. And I stay in my lane all the time because I'm a good driver and I'm a man. And so that makes sense. So let's check out this tweet real quick. This is from Greg Price. We're going to bring this up. We're going to take a look. Apparently, there was a movie that got a ton of nominations. And so it's got to be good, right? Like, it's got to be good. Check this out. This is my Twitter. This is Greg Price. Says tonight the movie Amelia Perez was nominated for 13 Academy Awards, more than Ben-Hur and The Godfather. This thing must be amazing. It's a musical. Never mind. It's definitely not amazing. It's a freaking musical about a Mexican drug cartel member who becomes trans. That includes a creepy musical number about sex change surgery. We have to watch this because, I mean, this is intriguing. Academy Awards. All right, look, before I click play, you guys know how I feel about musicals. I'm sure you feel the same exact way. They're awful. They're god awful. And when I say musicals are god awful, it's only because of like, who wants people singing and dancing in the middle of their movie? Nobody wants that. But do you know what makes musicals worse? Bad singing. No dancing. Well, that'd probably make it better. And songs about the most ridiculous crap ever. So anyway, check this out. This is a part of this movie that got 13 Academy Awards. You guys are going to lose your mind. You ready? Here we go. Let's see what this movie, how it got nominated.
Hello, very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation.
I see. Men to woman, or woman to men.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina. Is it for you?
For me?
What would you like to know about it, madam?
I want to know it all. What is the protocol, the techniques and the risks? How many operations? How much time do you need?
Mammoplasty.
Yes.
Vaginoplasty.
Yes.
Rhinoplasty.
Yes.
Laryngoplasty.
Yes.
Mammoplasty.
Yes.
All right, I got to pause it for a minute. All right, so number one, the song, like, look, the song is god awful. There's not even really music. It's just like a beat underneath it. And it almost sounds like they're not even hitting good notes. And that's not even about what the song's about. It's a stupid song. It's stupid. It's not even artistically appealing. Like, put music and lyrics and all that aside, and storyline, because you're going to have to put that one aside because this is the most ridiculous thing ever. Just from this one clip, I'm like, This is like something they would make it watch in high school. It's just below production, just garbage lighting, garbage everything. Anyway, and you guys might be like, well, David has a particular right-leaning stance on everything, so obviously he didn't like this. Guys, this could have been a musical about Trump getting elected. Garbage, 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 garbage. Musicals suck. There's only 2 good musicals, and I've said this multiple times. Sweeney Todd. Actually, I might have added a third. Sweeney Todd, because that's self-explanatory. It's actually somewhat decent. Would be better without music, and Moulin Rouge. Only because it's got my boy Obi-Wan Kenobi in it. But that's it. Those are the 2. Maybe the old school Willy Wonka. But is Willy Wonka actually a musical? I mean, yeah, they're singing and songing it, but the story just overshadows it. The music might actually add to Willy Wonka. That might be the only exception. Anyway, do you guys want to finish this out? I don't care. We're gonna finish this stupid thing out because there's only a few more seconds left.
Vaginoplasty.
Yes.
Rhinoplasty.
Yes.
Laryngoplasty.
Yes.
Control laryngoplasty.
What is that?
Adam's apple reduction.
Yes, yes, yes.
Adam's apple reduction. Oh my god. It's still playing? Hold on. What an insufferable movie. Anyway, 13 Academy Awards, guys. The reason I brought that up and made you suffer through that little clip, it's not to make fun of trans concepts in general, but that one's an easy. That's low-hanging fruit. And not to make fun of musicals, because that's even lower-hanging fruit. There was a low-hanging fruit in that trans joke just now. I just missed. I don't know. Maybe put it together in your own head and pretend I said it, because it was funny. The reason I brought that up is because the system's broken. The Academy, we've seen this for a while. It's important to pay attention to these things. Look, I don't care where you fall in the political spectrum. You could be hard, progressive, left-winger. Let's do all the things, try all the things, no boundaries, no rules, no rules unless they're, I don't know, what rules do you have? I don't think lefties have rules. Well, I mean, they have rules, but it's more like a cult rules where they don't make any sense. And we're not going to go into that. Or you could be a hardcore right winger and be like, I love musicals, but they better be about Trump, and that's it. The whole point of this is we should just ignore the content, because intent is always prior to content, and pay attention to the big picture. 30,000 foot view. What does this say about culture? That we allowed this movie to be made? I don't care. Make the movie. Make all the movies that are stupid. Make them all musicals. It's the fact that the Academy Awards gave this thing 13 nominations. Now that's the red flag. Been like, oh my God, these people are so disconnected. And that's my point. The system is breaking. And it's not just the Academy Awards. It's the Oscars. It's the Grammys. It's all around us. Everything's crumbling apart. And I make this a point because this was foretold. And there's a bunch of ways you can look at it. I have mine in particular is I like to look at in the postmodernist concepts, where Nietzsche came in and said, look, if when he wrote the poem God is Dead, or the parable of the madman, and in that poem he talks about God being dead, and he said after we acknowledge what we are going towards, which is a world without an absolute authority, we're going to have to create our own games. We're going to have to create our own rituals. We won't know what's up or down anymore. Directions won't make any sense. And he uses this verbiage, we have taken a sponge and wiped away the horizon, meaning we don't even know if we're right side up anymore, and that we're going to have to create our own rules. And that's basically what this is. The problem is, in a postmodernist concepts, we're like, yeah, rules are arbitrary. Reality isn't. Reality is whatever we decide to make it. Wrong. And they're saying that now because every one of you watching this now has been raised and grew up in a postmodernist culture, postmodernist everything, your academics, your media, all that. It's your truth. It's their truth. There is no real truth, no absolute truth. You've grown up in a world surrounded you by this particular concept, but you for some weird reason, like it's in your DNA or in your spirit. They don't believe in spirits, but you can recognize reality when it hits. Like when a guy. This is why this is why it's. I don't even. That's why I really should stop bringing up the trans thing. But it's the most blatant one, and it's not the trans people that I have an issue with. It's the concept behind. Not even. I don't even have a problem with people wanting to pretend they're a different sex. Yeah, you can pretend all you want. You're just not going to tell me that I don't notice your Adam. Even if you shave your Adam. Guys, here's the thing. Even if you shave your Adam's apple, we all know. We all know. And so the problem is reality sets in. Even if it's something as small as like the uncanny valley. The reality is always there. And the postmodernists don't want you to believe that. We're like, no, we create reality. We make our own rules. So this was a long way around to say, well, the systems that we've created on this, we make our own rules. We nominate these stupid musicals for 13 Academy Awards. The public will automatically have to accept the rules that we've created when we tell you this is a great movie that deserves awards. Reality is rejecting it. And the people who recognize reality are rejecting those things as well. And I'm hoping everyone clues into reality and finally realizes musicals should be banned and abolished, should be against the law to make a musical. You either make music or you make film. Stop smashing them together. Stop it. Just stop it. You want to go see that? Go to Broadway. And it should stay on Broadway. Should never hit the big screen. Ban it. Ban it all musicals. And if you're like, David, if we ban musicals, you know you're never going to get to watch a Sweeney Todd again. Again, if we ban musicals, maybe somebody will make a Sweeney Todd that doesn't have music. And I'll actually purchase that on Amazon because I'm sure it'll be awesome. Better than the one with music. I'll say this is the hill I'm willing to die on. Anyway, speaking of theater and theater kids, because you know they're all theater kids, we got to see a nice display of theater this week. I'm not going to spend time on the Zelensky Trump JD Vance meeting. We're going to watch a quick clip. Even though, because I know everybody and their mom has seen this clip, they've seen all of this. We're gonna watch it just for a split second, and then we're gonna pass right over this like the angel of death, and we smeared lamb's blood on the door frame. Here we go.
We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring it into this country.
All right, I'm going to point out the obvious, guys. Like David always has this one shtick. You know, everybody has their thing. They're always like, it's this cabal of insiders. Alex Jones has the globalists. Well, I've got theater kids. You know how I know this is all an act? Theater kids. I mean, Trump is not a theater kid, but sure isn't a lot of theater. JD Vance made a movie. And this guy, I'm not even going to play the clips of the things he's acted in because YouTube will kick me. Theater kids. This guy in particular, this whole thing is a theater. And you can't convince me it's not. It seems like a giant setup. I don't know. Maybe it was. I know everybody, especially in the right wingosphere, right wingosphere, was like, that was a smackdown. That was so refreshing to see. Yeah, I'll agree. It was nice to see somebody in government be like, oh, we're not going to give you any more money, and put old Zelensky in his place. I did like that. Only because reality wins. Now, you can be on any part of political spectrum and be like, well, God, David, are you for Russia or something? Nope, not for Russia. You're for Ukraine? Not really for Ukraine either. Not again. I'm going to say this outright for everybody watching and listening. Guys, I hate foreign politics. What is that? Foreign diplomacy. I hate it. That's one of the reasons why I never talk about what's going on in other countries. Because it doesn't, sure, does it concern me? I get it. And in some form or long run. It does affect me because we funneled so much money to his country. But is it the most interesting thing in the world? Is foreign politics and all this stuff super interesting to you guys? Because for me, giant snooze fest, giant bore. It's boring. And the fact that anybody thinks they're actually getting the truth. Guys, you remember the Ghost of Kiev? Guys, theater kids. That wasn't even theater. That was a video game clip. Either way, same thing. Do I think bad things are happening over there? Absolutely. Do I think Trump just wants peace? Yeah, you saw it in the clip. And kudos to Trump for sticking by his guns and trying to do whatever he can to get peace. And then he's like, well, maybe we'll get some minerals on it. I know people are like, well, that seems heartless. Nope. No. And this is why it's not heartless. And spare me all the righteous indignation coming out from I would say particularly the left side, about Trump being mean to Zelensky, because you guys are so disconnected on the fact that, like, I would like Zelensky had we not funneled everything, all of the billions and billions of dollars over there with, like, no real explanation. The only you guys, do you know the only explanation? Like, the American people are doing so good, we should give them near $200 billion. You know how the American people know? Because all of Congress stood up and waved Ukrainian flags. That's how you know the American people are backing them. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Do I want Ukraine to survive this war? Sure. Do I want Russia to not be the aggressor? Sure. Do I want to send them more money to make sure those outcomes happen? No, 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 no. So good on Trump, good on JD, smacking him down and putting old what's his face in his place. Guys, here's another. So back to theater kids. We're gonna hop on right over to TikTok. And this is what I'm talking about. This righteous indignation. I'm only pulling this out because I made this point before and I'm going to make it again because I think it's extremely important. We're going to watch this video and it might be worse than the transgender musical that I just showed you. It might actually be worse than that. So buckle up, Buttercup. You're about to be in for it. You ready for this? Listen to the plea from this dude. Dude actually might be an exaggeration. We should probably pull that one.
I don't give a fuck what he wears. This man has been respectful to every leader in the world. Everybody. And you clowns want to fucking do that shit to him when he comes over here. And then talk to him like shit and kick him out of the White House. You fucking disgraceful son of a bitches.
All right, so what makes all right? Here's my question. Number one, grown men are allowed to cry, but not on TikTok. Wrap that crap up. You're pathetic. I don't like being mean. Him crying wasn't the pathetic part. It's him posting this to TikTok. That's the pathetic part. Now, if you have an emotional moment to this meeting with Zelensky, I'd have to say that you have your priorities shifted around wrong. Not because you're on one side or the other. If I watch this, say I watch this thing and I'm on the right side of the spectrum, the political one, not the autism one. And I'm watching this and I'm like, Trump just laid the hammer on Zelensky. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. There would be a problem. That'd be wrong. That'd be terrible. So kudos to this guy for exposing himself, just being completely, I don't even have words for this, but the fact that he's crying, I get it. Like, okay, you might want to check in on your kids, check in on your family. How's your life going? You're crying over this. There's only one thing I can blame, and that would have to be Joy-Ann Reid. Joy-Ann Reid's responsible for this. I'm joking. No, actually, I'm not. I think people have really caught in. This guy probably plays the Ghost of Kiev videos on repeat, on his, in the background while he's making his soy latte in the afternoon because he doesn't get up early in the morning. Anyway, I'm tired of bashing on this guy's masculinity. I just showed you that just because this dichotomy thing, like, I guarantee if the roles were reversed and Zelensky was like what if Zelensky, hear me out, what if Zelensky was like a dictator? Not just a dictator. Do you think this guy obviously hates Trump, but do you think, would he be okay with, say it was Kamala in there talking to Zelensky, if he thought Zelensky was a dictator, number one, and Zelensky had an army of Nazis? He'd probably change his tune. Wouldn't you change your tune? Maybe. Sure wouldn't be crying about it. This man is literally crying over a Nazi. Guys, I don't know. I mean, is Zelensky a Nazi? Maybe not. Probably not. Is he a dictator? No, guys, he's a theater kid. We've been over this over and over again. This guy crying, we're going to bring it back up. This, can you imagine you crying over a theater kid? This is like Joy-Ann Reid crying over her useless show. Crying over a theater kid. You fell into the most deepest well of propaganda, and it got you to cry. Not just cry, record yourself crying. When he recorded this video of him crying, you have to remember, That green screen thing wasn't up. It wasn't up. He's probably in the front seat of his truck at the day spa he works at, leaning forward, and he's like, what would it take? What would it take to make you sob your eyes out on a camera and then have to upload? He stopped and was like, I got to upload the picture in the back from my TikTok and then throw captions. He went to Captcha to add captions. Man, we need to step up. We need to call this brother in Christ, check in on him. He's not doing well. Here's the worst part about him crying. And this is where I don't, guys, I don't like to pick on. That was a grown man. How do you not pick on him? Guys, how do you not pick on? I'm trying to be nice. Try not to be a jerk. Again, if that was a grown man, when I see grown men cry, here's a good example. I played a clip last year of a grown man crying about him struggling to pay his bills. Guys, I get it. I struggle to pay my bills, and maybe I shed a tear or two. But he posted it on TikTok. And we covered it on Pardon My Life. These are the reasons. It was like a bullet point of why this is not what you do. And I just went over it. No one wants to see a grown man. There's a saying I grew up with, and it's harsh. But you're all adults, and we're going to hear it. My uncle worked on a job site with me and my dad. We're all construction guys. And anytime someone would just start to complain, I'm not talking cry, complain about like, hey, it's too hot out here, or I'm kind of thirsty because it's 110 in Texas, and we're on a roof. Anytime you would a slight complaint, maybe you weren't even complaining, maybe it was a compliment, but you had a tone that came off kind of like a complaint. You would say, I'd rather hear a fat woman fart than a grown man cry. Guys, that's what I grew up with. And it's the utmost true statement. Shout out Uncle George, R.I.P. He had some really good sayings. That was one of them. But yeah, just complaining. I don't like to hear dudes complain. Definitely. And if he was like, say Zelensky, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to solve that. I would love to solve that for him, but I can't. But Zelensky solved it for him. Ready for this one? Breaking news, guys. Today, breaking: Zelensky says his country is ready to sign the material deals with the United States of America. That guy cried his eyes out on TikTok for Zelensky to be like, no, we're going to go and sign this thing. Do you think Zelensky cried as much as that guy? Doubt it. And if he did, he definitely did it in front of a camera. Because of theater kids. Guys, we're rushing right through. I got one more sponsor I want to tell you about. These guys are great. He's actually a lot nicer than I am. He's got a company. He makes t-shirts that are pretty awesome and rad. And I like to give him a shout out every once in a while because I like people who do creative things. If you haven't been here, you can go to whotouchedit.com. Short for Who Touched the Thermostat. Let me put that back up. Let's do it this way. Whotouchedit.com. They got awesome shirts. One like here says "Do not comply, abolish the IRS." Do you know who needs a cool "Do not comply" t-shirt to make them feel a little bit more manly? That guy that just weeped on TikTok to 30 of his followers. He should go to whotouchedit.com, buy him a sweet shirt. Guys, a ton of great stuff. They're constantly moving different designs in and out. I got the Ruby Ridge shirt. I'm looking to get another one. There's some really cool designs. Libertarian, anarchist, right-wing, Christian, all the kinds of different flavors, all the things that you love and know. Go to whotouchedit.com and check out the designs they have. Go buy yourself a shirt. I keep trying to get him to give me a promo code just to make me feel special. He said he refuses. He's like, no, I don't want anybody to know that I'm friends with you. I was like, all right, fine, then no promo code it is. Anyway, go to Who Touched It. I'm just playing. He's a good guy. Doing creative things. Guys, if you've got a thing, here's the thing. This is I'm a man of the people like my boy Trumpers. If you've got a company and you do cool stuff, why don't you just send that to me in the DM or something? If you want to shout out, just be like, hey, I make action figures for dogs or something. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is. If it's something I'm like that, that's worth putting up there. You just let me know. I'll give you a cool shout out. I'll make a joke or two. We'll have a good time. Because I'm a man of the people. And here's the thing. I don't know if you picked up on this, but one of my main goals in life is to encourage people to do the thing that they want to do. I'm a creative myself. I think God made us to be creative. It was kind of part go forth. And he told Adam to go in the garden to go and name all the animals. You can tell me that's not creative? You can tell me you didn't have to come up with some wonky names like the 800 animal in? Yeah. So God, not only did he tell you to go for it and be fruitful and multiply to actually create humans, he also gave you a mandate to be creative. So I like to encourage all my friends and people listening, go out there and make something. Go do something. Make something with your hands. Just be creative. And you might be like, well, I'm never going to be able to sell these and make money. It doesn't matter. It builds the soul. It builds the character. And it's all around good. So go out there and make something. Make a scrapbook. Who cares? Doesn't matter. All right, moving right along. I'm trying to blow right through these. So the other big news this week, and I had to touch on it. Speaking of the dichotomy thing, this is a good one to bring up. A lot of people are always like, well, the MAGA cult. We got to see the crack peer through that argument. That if you're on the right side of things, Trump can do no wrong. Nobody can do no wrong. You're always for everything. Well, MAGA had a big old L this week, and it was pretty blatant and right in front of everyone's faces. And the fact that you might try to obfuscate or deny the fact that this Epstein list catastrophe wasn't what exactly looks like. Even if you gave Pam Bondi the benefit of the doubt and Cash Patel, you gave everybody behind the scenes the benefit of the doubt that they had a plan and they were trying to execute it the best way they could, it still fell flat and failed. Every bit of it failed. I'm going to tell you. Oh, I don't know if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'll try to give you a recap. Pam Bondi came out and did a teaser. This is like a Marvel movie with like, oh my God, the Eternals looks awesome. And then the Eternals comes out and you're like, this was the worst thing ever known to man. It's kind of same thing happened with old Pam Bondi. Which, to be honest, I wasn't really a fan of Pam. Especially when she came out that clip, you're like, red flags. We gotta make sure these people definitely can't get guns. Automatically, that's a red flag. Someone should definitely check in on her because she's got some bad takes, guys. I don't know if you know this. Anyway, bad take number 2 that hit the main big screen. She came out teasing like we were going to get some really juicy stuff the day before she drops a binder that's completely redacted. That's only redacted things we already knew. And they made a big skeptical of it. Now, you can say what you want. Like, maybe she's just trying to put it out there and let everybody know that they're trying to get the files and the FBI and the New York is not letting them go. I get it. There was probably ways, I think on paper, their game plan, if that's true, if they're trying to play some kind of, I'd say 4D chess, but this is really like 2D chess. If they're trying to, hold on, I got a comment coming in from YouTube from Legacy Zach. Says, I'm finally here. You can start the show now. Appreciate that, Zach. Thank you very much. If you were gonna game theory this out and you were sitting in that room, it was like, all right, guys, we got this list of Epstein stuff and it's garbage. It's absolute garbage. There's nothing in it. What do we do? Like, well, here's step 1, step 2. We'll put the letter in it. We'll tell the American people that we're going to scapegoat it and tell the FBI. Why not hold off? Maybe, I guess the binder can. I still can't figure out what the point of the binder thing was and the influencers and all that. Guys, it seemed like a giant fumble in the end zone. Legacy Zach says his opinion is it was a distraction. Absolutely feels like it. It feels like a distraction. It feels like a distraction. It feels like a conspiracy. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but there's a ton of conspiracies out there about who is tied to the Epstein thing. Maybe it's a country. Maybe it's a foreign government. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know the real answers behind these things, but I can tell you what. Conspiracy, distraction, fumble, all of it. Actually, that last one, whatever it was a giant fumble. And America saw it, and MAGA saw it. And MAGA was ballsy enough to come out and be like, that was dumb. That was dumb, and we want more. That wasn't good enough. And that's the thing I like about it. I like that part about it. I got this quick video clip. This was the best, guys. This was the best explanation from the lady herself. So we're going to watch this real quick, and then we're going to chit-chat more about this. So let's take a look at this.
Welcome back, America. We're here with, and I'm very excited about this, Attorney General Pam Bondi, a good friend, especially a good friend of my wife, but a wonderful lady, a great lawyer. Welcome to the program, Madam Attorney General. I want to get into this Epstein thing a little bit. I think the American people are very curious about who's on this list, or these lists. You have been doggedly trying to get all the information. And now we learn, thanks to you, that you've been stonewalled by people in New York. Do you want to explain that?
Yes, Mark. So as you know, we released about 120 pages of documents, and I started asking for these documents right when I came into office. and before Kash Patel was in there. So I ended up getting about 120 pages. We carefully redacted them, of course, to be sure the 254 young girls, women who are victims of sex crimes and sex trafficking, their personal information was redacted and out of there to protect them. So I'm going through it and I kept saying, there has to be more, there has to be more. I'm assured that's it. Kash asked the same questions. Assured there's no more. I found out, this week that a source told me New York, SDNY, they're sitting on thousands of pages of documents regarding.
All right, guys, here's where I'm going to tell you. This is why I don't care what you say. This is what makes my ears perk up. This is where I take off that. This is what I'm talking about with the dichotomy. Any right winger, this Fox News, of course, your average Trump supporter be like, yeah, this seems legit. So we're going to break this down. Old Pam Bondi here basically just told you from day one she asked for these files and this is what she got. And she was like, there's got to be more than this. Except for the day before she dropped them, she was like, we've got some juicy stuff to tell you. Okay, so it's been sitting on your desk and you went on I don't know, whoever that Sean Hannity or whatever. And we're like, we've got the juicy. He was like, well, we're going to see some names. You're like, well, the things that these two individuals did, meaning Jeffrey and old Ghislaine, pretty bad. And we're gonna get to the bottom of it. The next day, you come out with this. Oh, by the way, it was a nothing burger, and I knew about it. Okay, so if you knew it was a nothing burger, then why did you come on the news? That's what I'm saying. It's like a Marvel trailer. Like this is gonna be the greatest thing ever. You're gonna see so much Daredevil. You've never seen so much Daredevil. Except for he's in it for like 2 seconds. He catches a brick that gets thrown through the window. And he talks to Spider-Man for a minute. And that's it. That's all the Daredevil you're getting, guys. That's exactly what it felt like. Was it cool to get Daredevil? Sure. Was it nice to see we're moving forward on the Epstein thing? Absolutely. What I do find ridiculous is the disingenuous of this whole thing. It's ripping at the seams. She's obviously not saying the truth part out loud. She's not. And the reason she's not is because she literally came out the day before and was like, we're going to drop some Epstein stuff and it's going to be amazing. And then the next day she's like, we dropped it, but it was a nothing burger the whole time. But because and then on top of that, she immediately scapegoat to the wall, the federal, the FBI over in New York. They won't give us those. Guys, you're the government. You're the highest parts of the land. Where's Kash? Has Kash been on TV at all? Has anybody seen Kash? I like Kash. I think Kash is great. I think he has an awesome name. I got no nick that Cashy. I can't call him Cashy. So he sticks with Kash. Ain't seen a thing from him. Not a single word. Now, if they're doing some Black Ops covert things, Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise is swinging in the FBI window at night with a fake mask on, ducking through lasers to get these files, then awesome. Say no more. I'll shut my mouth. But while you're doing that, you know what you could do? You could come out not the day before, come out the day and be like, hey, we have some binders we're going to give to some influencers. It's a ton redacted because we're trying to keep names safe. We have a suspicion that we didn't get all the files. That would have been fine to the American people. I would trust you more had you done that. Don't tease me like a freaking Marvel trailer. Spider-Man, No Way Home was good regardless. It's still a good movie. Could have used more Daredevil, but I got some Tobey Maguire. So, fine. But I better get some Tobey Maguire out of this Epstein thing. Or this is dumb. This is absolutely dumb. Major giant fail in the Trump administration. Lo and behold, of course, it was from a woman. No, I'm just joking. Well, Pan Bondi. Either way, that segment's over. That's my theory, guys. Truthfully, do I think I'm going to get any of the Epstein? Seems kind of hard. Seems like this is a giant in the land, and if we get anything out of these files, it was because divine providence came in and hit the giant in the head with a rock. And try to use a biblical analogy for that one. I don't know. Doesn't seem like we're going to get it. I am happy that they at least pursued it. What I'm not happy about, this is the same. This Pam Bondi Epstein file list is the same complaint I have about the mainstream media, the Joe Scarboroughs, the Jake Tappers. Don't play like I'm an idiot. Don't pretend that you're going to pull one over on the American public. They're like, yeah, it's a binder. It's phase 1. we're definitely going to get to phase 2. You better get to phase 2 now, because I'm super suspicious. And now you got me watching Ian Carroll videos because you couldn't deliver the goods. Go watch those videos, guys. Pretty interesting. Legacy Zach coming back in. He says, too bad you're getting the guy from Amazing Spider-Man. Which guy? Is that the Andrew Garfield guy? Wasn't a fan of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Real quick, wasn't a fan. Not because he did a bad job, just because it was in a different age room. I was a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and that has all the best memes. How many memes have you seen from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man series? None. You want to know why? Not noteworthy. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the Epstein thing. I think it's way more important. Those files were way more important than Zelensky showing up in a sweater vest and not a suit. Couldn't care less about Zelensky not showing up. Don't care. Did think him pointing the fact out that he didn't dress up was pretty funny. Just as much as I'd like to see Trump talk to old Fetterman. If I can just get Fetterman and Zelensky to go into the White House at the same time, I'd have a friggin' blast. Because this is what comes down to the dichotomy thing. It's not tribal anymore. This isn't a tribe. This isn't Republican versus Democrat. This isn't really right wing versus left wing. This is truth versus lies. And when even the people on the right side, unless you can come up with a good argument why Pam Bondi came out, she was sidewined. Guys, she was sidewined the day before. She thought, what she thinks she was going to get those files and they were just going to. That's like saying my dog ate my homework. You are in a fight for a minute. We are all really hoping that we get some truth out of this whole thing. You can't fumble the ball like that. That doesn't look like malice. It looks like either incompetence, or I guess a malice. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it definitely, it's not a good look. Fumbling the ball is not a good look. But to make that fumbling the ball worse is to pretend that we're going to fall for it. That's a real bad look. So I hope old Pamdy Bondi steps up her game a little bit, because I know this might not be important to a lot of people. Let me break this down. Let me break down the Epstein thing, why it's important. Is it important because of geopolitics? Are we gonna solve America's problems with the Epstein list? Maybe not. No. And here's the problem. Here's the thing with the Epstein list. It's not that I think that we're going to solve everything if we get the truth. The problem with the Epstein list is we don't know what the truth is, so we're all speculating the best we can. The real problem is every time America puts their thinking caps on and starts to speculate, they tend to be pretty friggin' on. They tend to be really, really good at this. And right now, there's a ton of speculation of what that list looks like and who's in charge and who's behind it. And that could be a real issue if you don't start. Basically, what I'm saying is you better start showing your cards. Because if you keep coming out and doing this, we have a juicy list, but it's all redacted and it's not the list that I thought. You start doing that, I'm going to start looking at everything that comes out of this cabinet. Suspicion. And the American public's going to do the same thing. It's not just me. They're going to do the same thing, guys. It's important. And this is what I like about the MAGA movement, because MAGA was not having it. Good on MAGA for that. I'd like to see some lefties join in. I'd like to see one lefty who wants to see the Epstein list. Still haven't found one of them yet. That I still can't wrap my head around. Here's the other thing. While we're on the Epstein thing, this is why it's not this whole right-left thing doesn't work anymore. If you were to go to your maybe you can do this. If you were to go to your average right winger, like your Trump's, no, not even average. Go to your fanatical Trump ringer. Like go to the guy who goes to alexjonesstore.com/pardonwill and buys a tactical knife and a coin with Trump's face on it. Talk to that guy, the guy that's diehard for Trump. And you're like, hey man, Trump's on that list and not just the flight logs. It's bad, bro. You sure you want us to release it? I bet you quite a bit of money that the highest percentile will be like, release the documents. Do it. Because it's way more important to have the truth than to play towards a party. Even if Trump's going to do some great things. Even if you're hardcore Alex, I bet you Alex Jones himself will be like, release the list. This guy, it's not a cult. Release the list. If you were to go to a hardcore left winger and be like, hey, Kamala and Joey's on that list. They flew at the same time. And they're not just flying. They're doing the stuff. You sure you want to release that? I don't know if they'd be down for it because I haven't heard any left wingers coming on this whole spiel and been like, yeah, that Pam Bondi really screwed up. I don't remember seeing. I mean, maybe I just not following the right groups. If you can find a clip of like, Morning Joe being like, man, we want that list. Pam Bondi needs to step it up. Seems like she's lying to me. Send that to me. I'll talk about that next week. Guys, I have this one more tweet. I found this week, and I thought this was a great explanation to this political and cultural dichotomy. Check this tweet out real quick, right? I'm going to read it out to you because it's probably really tiny on your screen. This is a Jeffrey A. Tucker. I don't know who this guy is. I just found this tweet. It said, still, people don't entirely realize what has happened. The party now in control of the U.S. executive branch is a third party built out of the corpses of the two prevailing parties. It goes by the name of Republican, but that is nearly a historical accident. Nearly all of the top people are refugees from the Democrat Party and were never welcomed and even hated by the legacy establishment of Republicans. This is absolutely correct. He finishes off with this part. So far, there is every indication of the intention to dismantle the government as we have known it for a century or more. I consider this a good thing in general. Old Jeffrey is spot on. And I say this on Pardon Live all the time, guys. All the time. Half of Trump's a Democrat. Half of his cabinet are Democrats. This MAGA thing isn't your right-wing hillbilly Confederate flag waving thing. That's not what this is anymore. Politics is not played the same. We are in a totally different game. We are in a totally different avenue. And I am loving it. So here's my white pill. The Pam Bondi thing, giant black pill, makes you think that the world is controlled by an evil cabal, whatever. Globalists, theater kids, whatever you want to call them. Theater kids is what I prefer. The machine is what I called it before. The machine is in control. They got the list. They got the dog. They're the one pulling all the strings. You could be black-pilled into oblivion thinking the Matrix runs everything. But the one white pill out of this, the optimism that can be found is the fact that it's not a cult. And this whole coalition of people who want that list, who want to stop sending Zelensky money, Americans money, those people, the people behind that, guys, it's actual people who are surrounded by reality. Actual people who live a normal everyday life, who go to work, not politically elite. They don't spend all their time trying to get lobbyists to pay for their next campaign. These are actual people connected to the earth. And when you're connected to the earth, reality looks a whole lot different than these other people playing pretend, theater kids. And so I got a real suspicion about this Pam Bondi chick. She's not releasing it. Maybe she did. Maybe there's stuff I don't know. Granted, grace be upon her. But again, at this point in time, once you cross that threshold and you start handing out binders, you better come with it. You better come with some material, or it's going to get this whole MAGA movement will shift because it's way more centered around we want truth and we want this system. We would rather see truth prevail over a faux government and system that just seems to rake Americans over the coal. And it's not just America; it's happening globally, and I love it. So there's your white pill. It's happening globally. It's and I'm in it to win it. I'm in it to win it. I love this. That's the problem with it. We're all gonna dichotomy because we're not, and we're moving into a world where things don't work anymore. The dichotomy thing, and you can look this up, and this is the thing I hear all the time. It does seem to like pull from a communism concept, which makes sense if you read Marx and all that stuff. And I haven't. Don't mistake me for a scholar. How dare you? I'm just a schlub on the internet who happens to listen to podcasts once in a while. But this whole us versus them, rich versus poor, right versus left, this dichotomy thing seems to be birthed out of a very simplistic understanding of the nature of man. Mankind seems to move in tribal for all kinds of survival reasons and social reasons. It makes sense why people pick tribes. Guys, I'm a Marvel guy. Is DC good? Yeah, sure, it's okay. But their movies suck. Every one of them except for like 3. 3. That's it. Marvel, you're like, well, Marvel sucked too. They got a lot more bangers than DC does. So I'm automatically in the Marvel camp. That's the tribe. But I'm willing to step out of Marvel and go, Eternals sucked. And you know what? This new Penguin series is the bomb. You know how I can do that? It's because I'll call the shots like they are. This whole, you can't say anything about the Pam Bondi fumbling the ball because you're on the right side. Wrong. That's old school politics. We're not playing that anymore. If you were on the left side, you were calling out Joe Biden being old and senile. There you go. We're not playing politics the way we used to anymore. Your boy Morning Joe, who claims to be a Republican, lied to your face and said Joe Biden was cogent for a year. I mean, longer than that. We picked up on the signs way early on. But let's just give people the benefit of the doubt. They weren't paying attention. That last year, he kept telling you Joe Biden was the best he's ever seen. And he's supposed to be a Republican. This right-left Democrat-Republican dichotomy thing is dumb. It's a dumb thing. And it's not even like I have to preach to you because it's happening on its own. RFK, Democrat, guys. He just cares about reality to some extent. Still think he's trying to get rid of libertarianism. You keep your eyes out on old RFK. He's trying to get rid of that Libertarian Party real quick by getting rid of the vax. I hope you do. There's a long joke. I'm not going to go into it. Anyway, I got this one clip because I thought this was pretty cool. I want to end it with this. This Marxist communist concept of making sure the people are separated and fighting each other is slowly breaking apart, and it's been doing it for a while now, and I'm here for it. Check out this one clip. I want to end it with this. It's just something to chew on, and kind of see if it relates to where we're in our world now. If it
the
doesn't.
following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
Fascist.
Fascist.
Fascist political party. Radicals on the far right. Anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic.
Xenophobic.
Transphobic.
Uncle Tom's
White supremacist.
domestic terrorist.
Neo-Nazi organizer.
Nazis.
You are an anti-vaxxer.
Anti-vaxxers.
Racist.
Racist. Racist. A racist.
All right, I showed that not to point out the fact that our boy Morning Joe was in there being an idiot, or those were all left-wingers. I pointed that out because what he just said, what the communists believe, that the more you say this, the more it becomes fact, was wrong. And we're watching that happen. If you call someone racist on the internet, do you know how much that means? Nothing. Matter of fact, it makes you look like the racist. It's all backfired. None of these things work. The communists have lost, and they keep losing. Do you want to know why the communists keep losing? Even though they've played every hint. Guys, the 2020 was so much propaganda poured into it. And I'm not saying majority. There was a large amount of people who didn't fall for it. Out of all the playbooks, this is how you do a psyop. This is how you convince the public. Try everything. They pulled every string, and they've been doing it for years, and it's not working. And it's not a side thing either, because a lot of people, again, called out this whole Epstein list thing. It's because reality is on our side. When I say on our side, aren't you be like, well, David, that's a dichotomy. You got the communists versus the people. Well, yes, there is a dichotomy, because the title of the episode is "We're All Gonna Dichotomy." What I'm trying to tell you is there's truth and there's lies. That's the real dichotomy that matters. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. I don't care what side of the cultural war you're on. I don't care what side of the autism spectrum you're on. It's truth versus lies, reality versus false matrix, falsehood, whatever that is, propaganda. And I love it. So that's my white pill. You guys always know I like to start off on a strange note and we end on a positive note. The white pill is reality exists. Absolute truth exists. It's a real thing, and people are connected to the ground, can feel it and know it, even if they can't explain it. No one can tell you, like, well, I mean, maybe they can kind of tell you, but like, hey, how come calling somebody a racist doesn't work anymore? I mean, yeah, the boy cried wolf theory seems to function, but why does the boy cry wolf theory work? It's because there's a reality. We all kind of see through the veil. It was like every time they're like, hey, you should go get jabbed. We'll give you a free sandwich. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what is this? And everyone was like, hey, they told us not to wear masks, and now we need to wear masks. Why are they telling us? This doesn't seem to add up. Reality, guys. Reality, truth is on our side. And it's truth versus lies. It's us who believe in reality and truth versus the world. And when I say the world, I mean like the world of psyop, Satan, That's basically it. Satan is a psyoper. Read Genesis. That's his thing, is to mess with your mind. Anyway, I'm going to go and end it. That was my show for tonight, guys. I appreciate you liking and subscribing. Share this with your friends. Go to pardonable.com, buy some art. But if you're not a fan of art and you're a lame-o, and you like D&D, you like your tabletop RPGs, don't forget to go to flintlockandfog.com. Player's manual, beta versions rolling out. Get in on the ground level. Again, even if you're like, I've never played D&D, I don't know if it's for me. Look, it's for you. If you've ever done a choose your own adventure, these are the ultimate choose your own adventures. And guys, it's set in Victorian era. And I know what you're thinking. Like, what fun thing happened in Victorian era? Guys, Jack the Ripper, Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolves. Well, Dorian Gray, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I can just keep on going. And it's not even anyway, I'm going to rant again about this game I'm creating. Be on the ground level. You know the guy who made it, and become a part of that, because then you can help me make this thing. We're going to have a good time. Check out the YouTube and the Twitch. Whatever you're watching this on, I'll be back Thursday night. We're going to be game testing and beta testing that thing. You can join in the fun. Guys, I appreciate you. I hope you have a phenomenal week. Stay connected to the ground. And when I say connected, basically go touch grass. Be creative. Build something with your hands. And love your neighbor as yourself. And the best way to love your neighbor as yourself is to always tell the truth when necessary, which it's always necessary. Guys, I believe in you. And I think we're going to win this thing. And you're asking me, David, how do you know we win this thing? Well, I read the end of the book. And we win. So anyway, love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful week. God bless. Ya jabroni.